You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, 2 Heels and a Face.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast. On today's episode, we are sort of gearing up for the upcoming Freelance Wrestling show on July the 27th. Chris and I have tickets. That's right.
We will be at Freelance.
We will be at the LSA, making it our second LSA show that we've attended this year. Only one away from beating Coda's bet. So, Chris, we're well on our way.
We're well on our way, and what a great way to get back into like this, a freelance for the both of us to join back into the LSA with this very special show, right? Like, there's a lot of like feelings behind it. So I'm super excited. It's all around The Voice. Kirby,
yes. The show is called The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a benefit for Kirby. If you're unfamiliar with Kirby, we just re-released our episode with him. You can find out all about him. But basically, he is the ring announcer extraordinaire, genuine, great human being for Freelance, has been for a bit, and other places as well, but Freelance. The show for him on the 27th, I think there's still tickets available, freelancewrestling.com. But
don't bank on those mystery 50 tickets that show up last minute.
Yeah. Get them now if you want to go. But we have Kirby on. We're going to have Kirby on today as a guest to kind of
just
update everyone really in full. I know that he's been giving like Facebook updates here and there. We kind of gave a little bit of an update when we recorded a new introduction when we released his old episode. But this is Kirby live and in the flesh. He's doing better. He'll tell you all about it. And we can kind of catch up on his journey, gear up for the show. And that's the point of this episode.
And Kirby's actually here, so let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in.
What's up, guys? Nice.
Well, Kirby, what's up, man?
Doing fantastic, man. How you guys doing?
We're great.
I feel like we're not allowed to say anything less than
I know. Right? We're fine. Trust me, we're fine. You've been going through some shit though, huh? Some stuff.
Yeah, man. So February 12th, I decided to go to the University of Chicago Medicine. I had just got home from Munster Hospital for 2 days, and the symptoms that I had that went away while I was in the hospital came back in 2 days. And it's congestive heart failure type stuff, and it should not have come back in 2 days. I can't drink enough liquid in 2 days to cause that to act up. Yeah. And I told my wife we had just taken on a heart failure specialist on our team. We've added into my team of heart people, and I only met him once. And I'm like, I think we need to go to University of Chicago because that's where he is. And she's like, really? And because my doctors in Munster are fantastic. I'm like, maybe it's just something they can't test for there or whatever. I'm like, I have a feeling we need to go up here. And so we did. I stayed in the emergency room for 24 hours. Then they finally got me a room. So this is February 12th. And I ended up staying there for 85 days. It was in the beginning, it's like, it's kind of cool. You're like, and plus they immediately put me on like medicine and stuff like that. So I'm not feeling bad. Like people think I'm laying in bed sick. No, I was laying in bed not sick. So I'm getting up and doing things. I have friends coming over, playing board games with me. I have workers coming over and hanging out, bringing me comic books. I mean, it was awesome. Texting left and right, phone calls.
Yeah, every guy's dream, right? Just leave me alone, let me do fun stuff.
Watching the freelance streams since I couldn't be there. And, they're chanting Kirby at the open of every show. Every single show they chanted my name, and I had tears in my eyes every time.
Yep.
No joke. But we had some bumps in the road along the way. They have something that's called a balloon pump, and the balloon goes in your heart, and there's really not much hardware out here at all. There's like a little sticker or something, but there's wires that come out of it and hook up to this like shopping cart unit that you have to push around with you. Okay. And so what that is meant to do is really make you healthy enough to do exercise, because the reason they want you to do exercise, and this is mandated by the transplant list, they want you to do exercise because the stronger you are going into the surgery, the faster you will do in recovery. So that's mandated by them. So I was doing like 2 or 3 miles a night, like just walking in a circle, like the whole floor. And about 2 days after they put the first balloon in, it malfunctioned. So they had to take it out. And this is like twilight surgery every time this happens. So they put another one in. After about a week or two, it malfunctions. Jeez. So they take it out and put another one in. That one probably goes 3 weeks or so, and it malfunctions. But this one malfunctions by throwing clots all in my body. Most of them were microscopic and hit my liver and just made like dust marks. But one of them got all the way down into my ankle and cut off all the blood flow to my foot. And overnight, like I woke up one morning, looked at my foot, and 2 of my toes were green. They were dying.
Oh my God.
So they got not cardiovascular. Who did they get? They got one of the special teams to come in and check out my foot. And they're like, yeah, that's really, really, really bad. And there's nothing we can do for it except what they're already doing, which is pumping medicine to break up the clots. So it's like, there's nothing else we do. We can't operate. It's too small.
Okay.
So, and they're like, we hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if it doesn't clear up overnight, we're going to have to take those toes. And it cleared up overnight.
Oh my God.
And I look back at it, right? I'm like, I don't want to lose my toes. And I don't, and 2 toes for 15 years. Shit, take 3 and give me 20.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's a fair trade-off.
Yeah. What is like your mindset through all? Did you have hard stuff kind of before, and you're like, oh, now here it goes, like, or is this like so? Like, was there stuff kind of leading up this where you always kind of had heart issues, or did this kind of come out of the blue?
So I've had heart issues for 6 years. I had a virus. So I had what they call a viral cardiomyopathy. My whole cardiovascular system was like in amazing shape, even for as big as I was. Okay. But there was still something wrong with my heart. And so they did some tests and found out that a virus basically damaged my heart to the point that I don't push out blood. My ejection fraction is less than what your guys would be, like by half. Okay. And because of that, since I'm not pushing blood out fast enough, you go into congestive heart failure. Your body starts to fill up with fluid. And so I lived for 6 years with congestive heart failure. It was medicinally controlled, but I would have flare-ups where the medicine wouldn't do anything, and I'd have to end up in the hospital, and they'd have to drain me out, and so that was going on for 6 years. And when we brought on the heart failure doctor, like I said, it was a month before the big thing happened. When we brought him on, it was just like, hey, let's just get him on the team so he can get to know you. You can get to know him. We're probably not going to need him for another 5 to 10 years. And then like a month later, I'm getting a heart transplant.
Damn.
So yeah, that's the whole step. And I had, I definitely want to get this out there. It was hard. It was very, very, very hard. Yeah. And not being home with my family. My wife basically became a single mom overnight. with 2 kids that need 2 adults. They're in different things. So we need 2 cars and 2 adults. It's like, and somehow she managed to do it herself, but at a pretty great cost. I mean, she was tired and sick and had no free time whatsoever, and just was run ragged. And I had that on my mind. But early on, like when I was told that I was going to have a heart transplant, and that was the first day, and I decided right there and then that I get one day, so I can cry, I can scream, I can, hate the world, whatever it is. I can just do all of that for one day, and then the next day I have to be positive. I only get one day to grieve, or one day to just,
let out the negative thoughts you got.
Yep. And the next day, no more. You did that yesterday. That's done. Now you go back to being, okay and positive. And I had 3 times when that happened. The toes was the second time. I gave myself that one day, and then the next day I'm just like, no, now we have to be positive. And the power of positivity, I'm going to sound like I'm about to give a religious sermon. The power of positivity really is something, it's just,
absolutely.
And, they marveled at how positive I was the whole time. And I'm like, it's better than the opposite, being negative. And, I already have anxiety and depression. I don't want to add to it. So after about 77 days, you'll like this. This was pretty good. Okay. So they knocked me down on the list because they sent in my latest numbers from the cath, where they run a line into my heart through my neck. And they sent in the latest numbers at one point, and the list basically said, oh, we're taking him off level 2, which is where you want to be. Level 1 is people that are on life support. Level 2 is the highest you can be and not be on life support. Well, they bumped me down to a level 4, which is not good. And they said he's too healthy. And they're like, what? They're like, we got this. We're going to take care of it. And he said, let's get you to rehab your foot so your foot's not a problem anymore. And once that's done, we're going to shut off all your medicine, shut off all your support, and then we'll take a cath test, and we'll send them those numbers. And I'm like, ooh, I like it. Very shady. And they're like, no, not shady. No. They were very upset every time. I'm like, it's Chicago. It's okay. No.
Yeah. But, and healthcare too. You can never trust exactly some things.
I wanted to die for those 24 hours. It was brutal. And the only thing I could think is that was the real me. Because you take the medicine away, that's where I actually would have been at that point in time. If I were still home or whatever, that's where I would have been. And it was excruciating. Everything hurt. And I don't even know how to explain it. Every fiber of my being was not happy. And then they put the medicine back on after 24 hours, almost immediately got back to normal. And they sent those numbers in. 2 days later, I get a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're like, you're getting a heart. Don't eat or drink anything.
Wow. 2 days later.
Yeah.
You rigged the system willfully. That's great. Honestly, we're bringing you on because we're so happy that this happened. It sounds like you got some good stories out of it. The toes thing. Feels like that was something that would happen in like Game of Thrones or something.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, this king's got to lose 3 toes or whatever. And insanity through it. Like, I don't know how you kept such a positive spirit. I think that shows how mentally, not even physically, how you hung on, but how mentally tough you hung on. Like, how was the support? How would you describe the support throughout all this? Friends, I know you said your family, your wife's a trooper. But friends and like the Freelance Faithful process.
the wrestling community, all of it, because I work for a lot of companies, and I've worked with a lot of people. The wrestling community got me through this 100%. I was getting texts, I was getting phone calls, I was getting visitations. They were so positive. And anytime I would post something, they would just comment after comment after comment after comment, get better, we love you. And that's what got me through, because it was constant positive interaction from the wrestling community.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the first video that we see post surgery is you, announcing the main event at the LSA. Like, come on now. Like,
I woke up, I look at my wife, I'm like, get out your camera. And she's like, okay, you ready? Yeah, okay. Logan Square Auditorium. I look half dead. My eyes are barely open. They literally just, brought me in the room, and I woke up. When I woke up, probably after a couple hours, that was the first thought in my head, And now I haven't pinned. I've never pinned anything to my Facebook. I pinned that. So every time someone goes, they have to watch that, or scroll past it and be a real jerk. But
great.
No, it's it's been a wild ride. Even home with the recovery has been going 99% great, but you have those days where you're not as strong as yesterday, and I almost overdosed. I accidentally took too many of one of my pills. They sent me home with 1 milligrams and 5 milligrams, just in case they change it all the time. And just in case I had to have 5, they wanted me to have the 5s. Well, guess what I did? I used the 5s instead of the 1s from the get-go. So I was supposed to be taking 3 1s in the morning and 3 1s at night. I was taking basically 15 in the morning and 15 at night, so I was taking 30 as opposed to 6. And once that medicine causes tremors, and I was like, I was throwing food on myself, like I couldn't.
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness!
I don't mean to laugh.
It's funny now, man. But the worst thing with the tremors is I'm also diabetic, and I have to take my sugar 3 times a day. So one hand is bleeding, the other hand has the meter, and you're trying to get them to come together for the drop of blood. And, like I'm learning to pin it against my shoulder or something, so at least one's still. Yeah. I developed a stutter that comes and goes, again, from that same medicine, from the Prograf. I can go on forever about this stuff, but right now I'm on 3 medications that shut off my immune system. So I have no immune system right now. So that's why I really don't leave the house or anything like that, unless I know that I can absolutely protect myself, like stay in the car. So I have 3 of those. So I have no immune system, because if I had any immune system, they would attack the heart as a foreign body. And so now they're kind of lowering those every couple of weeks. I get a blood test, so they're getting lower and lower. Eventually, in a couple of weeks, they'll take me off one of them. And then in a couple months after that, they'll take me off another one. And then they'll keep me on one the rest of my life. So I'll always be slightly immunocompromised the rest of my life. So I'm supposed to mask up the rest of my life. But there's certain things I can't do, certain things I can't eat. I can't have grapefruit or pomegranate because it'll shut off some of my meds.
Interesting.
All my food has to be fully cooked. I can't eat any undercooked food. So a medium rare steak is out. I have to have I I don't even know. I never ordered it before. Well done.
Well done.
And when they told me that, I'm like, well, I just won't eat steak for a year because I'm not eating a well done steak. I mean, it's shoe leather, you know?
Yeah, that's tough.
And I can never be around birds or reptiles because they carry too many viruses and germs and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
So our son had to get rid of his snake that we had got him for his birthday just 3 months earlier. That was not a good time, but he's at a friend's house. So it's not too bad, but yeah, you know, can't go swimming in certain places. I can go swimming in the ocean, but I can't go swimming in a creek, you know, because you know, more still water, more stuff can build up.
Who swims in creeks anyways? Come on.
Right. But yeah, there's, you know, all my vegetables and fruits have to be washed before I can eat them.
Okay.
It's just a bunch of crazy stuff, you know. But again, the trade-off, like, yeah, give me all these restrictions. I get to live another 15 years. And that's pretty much what they told me. And the way they told me was pretty shocking. Because I said, so, you know, what's the life expectancy now if I get a new heart? And they're like, well, if you make it through the first year, you'll live another 11 to 15 years. And think about that first statement. If you make it through the first year, I'm 3 months in. So I still have 9 months where I'm in jeopardy. You know, I can't just sit back and go, oh, you know, I feel great. Da, 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 da. They said, you know, they've seen a lot of people not make it through the first year.
Yeah.
So
you're in a tough spot. Like, obviously, we're so happy we're talking to you right now, but you're in a tough spot because you've kind of had that timetable, which is just it's like a double-edged sword. We're happy you're here. It's grim to think about a timetable being put on your life in any capacity, I'm sure.
Right.
But it's not like you can go travel the world because airplanes are the dirtiest things on the planet, and you have them. So it's a little bit of a tough. Once again, grateful you're here. A little bit of a tough spot in terms of like how it's changed your life.
And I'll say this, Kirby. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please, Chris.
I was just gonna say. I mean, we started this conversation somewhere around the power of positivity and how you've been very positive throughout, and in that, you know, same energy got reflected on your posts and all that good stuff, and it has gotten you this far. So like, I hope that more of that keeps coming your way.
Oh yeah.
You know, and obviously with the proper care, like the trade-off, like you said, you know, yeah, you might have to stay home a couple days and it's all good. Wash some vegetables, but and maybe try some shoe leather once in a while. But yeah, if that means we get, you know, more Kirby, then hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I said it's definitely a fair trade-off. What was the last thing what did you say? No, I can't think.
I was like, the airplanes are dirty and you're stuck inside.
Yes.
Immunocompromised.
So after the first year, a lot of restrictions will be taken off. The meat restriction will be taken off. Being in public places, that will be taken off even pretty soon. I just have to be so very, very, very careful. Mm-hmm. Pretty much like COVID careful. And the interesting thing is, you know, he said, you know, I have to wear a mask and stuff. But then he said, he goes, we didn't make heart transplant patients wear masks before COVID. So we've been doing this for, you know, in this building alone, 60, 70 years or whatever. We never made anybody wear a mask. But COVID came along and then they're like, oh, we should probably just keep them on the mask forever.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of those restrictions will get lifted. And one of them is travel. I will be allowed to travel again. Okay. Again, I just have to be careful and such. I have to really look like, you know, is this place having a water crisis or something like that? You know, like, is something wrong with their water right now or their air quality or anything like that? Things you don't think to look into when you're traveling overseas. I have to like look into all those things. And but yeah, you know, I'm incredibly happy still. You know, it's like I said, the alternative, it's just not viable. I can't do that. I can't lay in bed and you know, poor me, poor me, poor me. No, I have to be positive and push on. I got a family to be with, and the wrestling community and some amazing fans and friends. And that's hard too, man. Missing the wrestling shows. I think I missed 7 shows and I watched them all on streaming. And that's hard. It's really, really, really hard.
Well, speaking of that, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to get your reaction when you saw this. Can you walk us through when this was posted on social media?
Yeah, man. I cried 100%. I had no clue this was coming. I saw this when you guys saw it. So I had no one, clued me in on it. And, I hit up James, the booker, right away. And he's like, hey, we love you. And, we want to do this for you. We want to help your family. And I was floored. Absolutely floored. And they put it up for one day because it was like a week before the anniversary show. So they put it up for only one day, and then they stopped. They just didn't put it up more. It was still getting shared all over the place, but they weren't posting it anymore because they wanted to post for the anniversary show. But they wanted to put this tease out there. And then after the anniversary show was over, they started putting it out again, and now they've been announcing matches. There's 4 matches announced already, and
he's on it. He's on top of it.
Oh yeah, I actually do every time they do a match, I share the post and I do like a little commentary. So it's like the Trevor Outlaw match. I was like, this is probably gonna be a really great match. I hope Trevor Outlaw dies.
So grim. I love how grim that is, considering all you went through. It's funny. Dark humor. I like dark humor.
And I did the same thing on X, Twitter, whatever. Yeah. And Robert Ego Anthony came on and commented on it. He was like, "Really, Kirby? Death?" I will say it got a lot of likes. Not for nothing.
Great. Well, I think we have another surprise for you, right, Chris?
Yep.
Let's bring on Mr. Matt Nix.
Yeah.
Naked Nix. What's up, man?
I'm not naked. I just got home from the gym.
You're looking buff.
I'm still gonna picture you naked, so it doesn't matter.
Well, we
in my satin sheets. So.
Oh wow, those are nice. I'm surprised they're not purple. Do you have a purple set?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a very personal question.
You're losing weight as well, aren't you?
A little bit.
In the face, it really looks like it.
Yeah, you look slimmer last show. Nix was in the scramble. I felt like you looked slimmer.
I was 220 in January, and I'm like 185 now.
Okay,
there you
that's
go.
huge, dude.
That's huge.
Almost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I lost 100 pounds since last August. It's not a diet that I recommend, but I had started losing weight on purpose in August, and then I think I lost about 50 pounds, and then in the 85 days that I was in the hospital, I lost another 50 pounds.
Wow.
And I was eating decent. The food's not great, but it's nutritional, and they give you enough.
You had the meal cart, right? That was one of my questions on the agenda is, did you get any good things delivered to you via the meal chain that was going on?
That was to my wife. That was to my wife and kids. That, I didn't get to enjoy that.
Oh, I see.
So my wife didn't have to cook and,
that makes sense.
could take it, not run ragged all day and then come home and have to cook too. Absolutely. So, no, and the meal train was great. It really, really helped them out. And, a lot of people also just did straight donations. We got a good deal of money from that. And, now Freelance is doing this. It's phenomenal, man. I was telling them just before you came on, you guys didn't clue me in. I knew nothing. Matter of fact, when I texted you, you were like, yes, I can finally talk to you about this. You know how long I've been waiting to talk to you about this?
Yeah.
And then I like smartened you up. I'm like, yeah, but James doesn't want me to know much. He wants it to be surprises. And you're like,
Well, that's why we brought Nick on. We wanted Nick to explain, say how much you mean to him, obviously, and mean to all of us, but say any words that he wants as well, and explain kind of the reason we're dedicating the show to you. So Nick, take it away, whatever's on your mind.
No, I mean, I was thinking about this today, actually, and like I remember the day James called me to tell me like what you were going through, and it was just like it floored me, obviously. And I was at work and I had to go step outside for a second, and I was just like, holy shit, man, like what's gonna happen? Like I had so many questions, obviously, and I remember like we were just talking about it on the phone for a bit, and like not even like 10 minutes into the conversation, he's like, we got to do something for Kirby. We got to do a show for Kirby. And I was like, 100%. Like as soon as like we can start planning this, like let's do it. And I mean, it's kind of just been like mostly his brainchild, honestly. Like because we were originally going to take the month of July off and just kind of have like a little break in between anniversary and then the rest of the year. And the moment we were like, oh, let's do this show, we figured it would be perfect to plug it in right in July. And just the planning of the show was really fun. Like we said, there's a lot of surprises for this show.
Okay.
I will say, like, we do have a couple items that we're going to be doing like a silent auction for as well.
nice.
Cool.
You as well. I'm really excited about that. And just in general,
Another Cody jacket?
I was
That's
going to say an
awesome.
extra Cody jacket.
I was talking to Frank the Clown, and he was just like telling me about it because the day I got the jacket, he was also meeting up with like Cody's manager. He's like friends with him, and which killed me because when I saw him, he was like, oh, he's like, you're the freelance guy. Frank the Clown's your biggest star, right? And I'm like, did he say that? And he goes, yeah, he did. And I was like, he's one of them. He's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, like that's incredible that like you got that jacket. Like he thought it was supposed to be like for you, and I was like, oh, like, well, no, it's not. But like, I wish I could. Like, I wish we weren't like in our situation with the school that
Right.
like we could have donated that jacket, for you. But we got some other goodies lined up, and like the show itself, like the matches that we have are really awesome. Like a lot of like interesting matchups that I feel like we wouldn't normally see on a show, and like we're kind of like giving some people some bigger opportunities, and I think it's kind of just like a celebration. Like the show is kind of like a celebration of your life and
Right.
just wrestling, professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's the 4 matches announced so far, all look like a lot of fun. And, it was interesting because the first 2 matches, I'm like, they've already got both of their champions in matches. I'm like, and like normally when you're putting out a flyer or whatever, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of start with the easy stuff and you build up to the big match. You don't want to give that away at the beginning unless the tickets are selling really bad, then you give it away right away.
Right.
But, I'm like, man, so Storm's already in a match. Coda's already in a match. And, Trevor, one of our big guys that, I hope he dies during the match. So you've got some pretty solid matches already, but I know it has to go up from there. It's like, to me, that's like booking 101, so I can't wait to see what else you guys have going on.
It's definitely going to be awesome. And there's also maybe surprises that won't be announced. Who knows?
What's that?
Maybe some surprises that won't be announced. Who knows?
Right on.
I love it.
When you guys did this, I started coming up with ideas, and I pitched one to James, and he's like, we're already doing something like that, and we have a lot of surprises, and we're keeping you in the dark. And I got the idea at that point that, like, you know what, this is his baby. He has a vision, and I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not. I could have made 1,000 suggestions, and I'm like, no, let James do what he feels he needs to do for me.
Yeah.
And because it's that special to him, as special as it is to me, I can sense it's to him. He feels a duty to have to do it. And I wouldn't interfere with that at all. But one of my ideas, and you guys, I don't think would have done this, but I thought of it as like, Kirby Alexander, this is your life. Do you recognize this voice? And I'm like, and Ian Rotten comes out. It's like, I'm like, that would have been amazing.
Oh, who else could we have? Okay, Ian. Who else?
Danny Daniels. I worked for him for a minute.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Did you did some Golly dates too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come out. Oh man, that would have been funny.
Speaking into the mind of Kirby, basically.
And it could just be Castro dressed up as different people.
I was gonna say Kirby as your just be like, hey man, hey James, I'm actually not doing so good. Things are flaring up, etc. Can you bring back the Halloween Battle Royal this year for me, please? Can you please do it?
I pitched it in our booking meeting, and it got consideration.
Okay, we're making progress then.
I've probably told this story before, but since it comes up, I feel I always have to tell this story. So, whoever handed me the sheet that night, I think it probably would have been you. And because James wasn't involved yet, and so I believe you handed me the sheet, and so I'm looking through it, and I get to the Halloween Battle Royal, and all local wrestlers acting as if they were other wrestlers, and I looked at it, I'm like, holy shit, this is utter crap. Like, this is horrible. I don't want to announce this. I'm like, this might put us under. Like, this may be the end of Freelance. This is going to be so horrible. And I can't remember who came out first, if it was Marche as The Rock or but whoever came out first. I talk about the Freelance crowd as being so special, and they are, because they bought it. Like, they knew that wasn't The Rock. But damn it, if it didn't sound like it was, like they chanted everything, and just they acted like they were watching these guys for real. And it then became one of my favorite Freelance moments of all time.
I still say to this day that is one of my favorite matches in Freelance history, because it's so unbelievably stupid and like ridiculous, and like. It was like bad cosplay for the most part.
Yes.
But the whole point of that match was I booked Dick Justice to be Shockmaster, and I actually like made the Shockmaster. Like I bought a Stormtrooper helmet and I spray painted it and everything, and like he was like the last one to come out. I think he won the match too, and it was just because I thought it'd be funny. And I remember we posted like the photos on Facebook, and John Tento's wife was like, and she was like commenting on it. She's like, this is so disrespectful. And I was like, but he won.
It's wrestling, man. No, this is a great part about the Freelance, that crowd, the LSA crowd, I think, and Emporium too. But I think the LSA crowd is just they will be serious, but they all also buy into the funny stuff too. And it's just and both of them are entertainment. Like, which way do we want to take this match? And I feel like they're down for whatever. And Freelance too, I feel like doesn't take itself too seriously in that way. Like, no, we're so rugged and cool, like we would never do that. Like, no, it's a promotion with a sense of humor, you know.
One of the things that's very interesting for me is every once in a while you get the a-hole in the audience, right? And I don't think we've had one in a long time, but we've had a few throughout the years, and like the rest of the fans like just rip that person apart, man. Like, we don't even have to do anything, you know. It's just, you know, they tear into them pretty hard, and you know, so, you know, it just speaks how faithful they are. We call them the Freelance Faithful, and they just, you know, they buy everything we're selling. They're so happy to be there. You know, after the show, I usually hang out by the door, and you know, people come up to me and tell me their stories and such. You know, they got kicked out, or they're living in their mom's basement. They're so depressed, or their car broke down, and they always end it with, "But I got a night here where I could feel good. You know, get away from all my problems at home. I got to have a night here." And that's pretty awesome, you know. And also people, a lot of people who feel out of place in society for multiple reasons, whatever that is. You know, this is a place where everyone is like them in some way at that point. It's like, you know, it's like, it's home. If you know, it is, Freelance is home. Yeah. But they don't feel judged there. They feel, you know, they've got a place, and they got people who care about them and build them up. And you know, they may not have that in their life in the really real world, and have told me as such. You know, like, you know, everyone laughs at me or this or the other, and you know, here, no, that doesn't happen. You know, I can be free. So, you know, it's a very symbiotic relationship. You know, we live and feed off each other, and you know, we give them good stuff to scream about. They scream about it, and then you know, I can only imagine you're in the ring just eating it up, you know, and getting pumped up. And you know, when they chant my name when I come out, you know, it's just like, you know, I've got a job to do, guys. You know, you know, I let it soak in for, you know, a minute or two, you know, and I'm like, okay. I probably should cut this off at this point. And I just bring up the mic and go, and they usually go down. But I was doing a GCW show, probably 2 GCW shows ago at Talia Hall. It was when Mustafa Ali came back. So it was the Mustafa Ali show for GCW at Talia Hall. And I just show up at GCW shows. I just walk in, and I'm dressed as if I could announce. And Emil comes up to me, their regular ring announcer. He's like, okay, how about you do 2, 4, and 7? I'm like, okay. Like, it's not even like, you know, if he sees me there, he's throwing me matches. And you know, and Brett's a really, you know, good guy. And so that show, I can't remember what the first match was. Oh, I do remember something about it. So I came out, he introduced me, and the place went bonkers. Like, even possibly more than a Freelance show, and I don't know how that's possible, but it was just, I couldn't like get them to stop. Like, they hit 11 and stayed at 11, where normally like they'll hit 11 and then 10, then 9, then 8. You can tell it's falling off, and then you know where to go. They wouldn't stop. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let this happen. And then I remember Robert Ego Anthony said he was waiting in the wings, and he was in the match. And he's like, how in the hell is he getting a bigger pop than the guys? You know, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do something about this. So he comes in and he shoots on me about that. You know, it's like, how dare you? And, you know, have the fans cheer for you and and now they're eating him up. And, you know, but yeah, he turned it into an angle instantly. And it was awesome.
You get out what you put in, man. This is that's a product of you being you, Kirby, I think.
You cultivate.
And Emil put something on X shortly after that, and he was saying, you know, sometimes it's hard for him to believe what other people tell him. That something just fell upstairs. It's you know, it's hard to believe that people tell him he's great, and you know, I hopped on and said, you know, you are absolutely phenomenal at what you do, man. You're amazing. And I'm like, just eat it up. You know, don't doubt what they're saying. You know, enjoy it, revel in it. And you know, he posted back. He's like, in Chicago, they like me, but they love you. And I'm like, yeah. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna list off all the matches. We'll throw it to Nix for final words on the show and on Kirby, and then I think we'll take it home as well. But matches announced so far: Bang & Matthews with Robbie Reeves versus Storm, Isaias, and Saban Gage. Huge match for Robbie Reeves, which is awesome. Coda defends his legacy title against El Torreo. Am I saying that wrong? Did I miss an R in there?
Torero.
Okay. I needed you for that, Chris. Thank you. Alfonso Gonzalez versus Cole Radrick, which is a very interesting one. Yeah. And then Philly Marino Experience versus Trevor Outlaw and Hayden Backlund. Not related to Bob Backlund, I think. Or is he?
I've never even seen him. I don't even know who the kid is. I saw that he was working the night before for BLP, and I'm like, Backlund? Who? I'm like,
Nix, can you confirm related or no?
No, I don't think he is. But
Nix, what can you say about the show before we wrap up here?
I mean, like I said before, it's a very special show for a lot of us, and you know, we're given a lot of opportunities in wrestling, and to have an opportunity to give back to somebody who's very special to us, like Kirby, is awesome. And, you know, just to make a difference, like in your life, just by doing a silly little wrestling show is kind of incredible. And like for it to be something, you know, difference making for you,
right,
is really awesome. And, you know, I should say, speaking for myself, you know, I feel like I love to like help people like whenever I can, and just being able to like use my company or like my brand or whatever to be able to do this, and it is awesome, and really looking forward to it. I will say this, I'll spoil one thing.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go.
I did wrestle last month at the anniversary show. This is the only time I've ever strong-armed myself onto a show. I was like, guys, the 10-year anniversary show, I got to be in the scramble.
It's fair, I think.
And there was no pushback on that.
Yeah.
And I don't wrestle too often anymore, but I will be wrestling on the Kirby show as well.
Awesome. I love it. A little 2 in a row. I think those are 2 meaningful claps. No, it's great. It's great to see. It was great to see you out there next, especially slim down and doing your thing. So that's awesome. Thank you for putting this on along with James as well. Kirby, do you have any final things to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, you know, I just think it's sad that it took me almost dying to get me on a flyer.
Oh man,
that was good. That was really good.
That was really good.
As you guys can see from my tweets, my Facebook posts, all throughout this is what I've been doing. This is, making jokes and being positive. That's what gets me through. So, yeah.
Yeah, keep it up, man. We're so happy you're here. Like I said, I can't say that enough, but keep up the positivity. And I'm sure you're going to have a full heart that night. That's the 27th of July. FreelanceWrestling.com for tickets still. Chris, you want to take us home?
Let me say one thing real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
One of the coolest things that's been happening with the ticket sales is I've had people texting me and messaging me that they're buying tickets and not going to the show. Like they can't go to the show.
That's awesome.
But they're buying tickets anyways. And again, the wrestling community, it just absolutely blows me away. So, even if you can't make it and you want to help out, you can still buy a ticket. I believe we're going to do a donation link as well, I think after the show. Okay. And, I just hope I see my doctor on the 23rd because I'm still not medically cleared to drive or be in public places. So, I might be watching it from home. I'm waiting to get that clearance and hoping I can be there for all of this, but I'm not really sure right now.
Okay. Keep us updated for sure on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, I'm going to have to dig in for those shiny dress-up shirts, and I have to wear one on the day of the show. Just, I don't know if I can match it with the shoes, but I'll do my best, Kirby.
No one's got a shoe game like Kirby. In fact,
right.
That's what we should be raffling off.
Some shoes
are amazing. Yeah.
You know what? I have some pairs that I'm probably retiring. If you guys sell your underwear, I mean I can sell my shoes.
That's true.
Ring worn shoes.
Ring worn, yes, man.
All right. Well, I mean, once again, Kirby, thank you for joining us, for doing this. Thank you for teaching us all a lesson into how to approach certain situations that we don't foresee. They just come and you're an example of how to handle things like this. Because I think we all felt inspired. At no point we're like, oh shit, this sucks. It does suck. And we kind of felt that for a split second. But the moment we saw your post and your energy and your positivity, it showed us that we can turn something that is not ideal to something that we can look forward to, right? Like even you saying like, I want to attend this event. I think I was telling Charlie that like, man, Kirby's doing like in recovery and he's like 2 months from now saying he's interested in an event. Like that was inspiring. Like knowing that you had that in you to push forward and move forward and get better and all that stuff. So thanks once again for that.
Yeah, I did that to trick the algorithm. Because the more people that say they're interested in stuff, it makes the algorithm do different things and push it out because now they have another person linked in. And so I said I was going to all kinds of stuff that I couldn't go to.
Hey, it did something for us too, So Nick, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a minute. Looking forward to seeing you on the 27th. And as far as Two Heels and a Face goes, I mean, we have twoheelsandaface.com. There's some articles out there regarding the anniversary show. And then we'll be going to shows. Chris and Charlie will be at shows together.
You're here first.
Thank you to the both of you, and looking forward to seeing you. That's that. I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Nix, love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you too.